Boom.
Yo.
Wipe. Fade. Something. Sup.
What up? You're getting me how I am with a blank background right now because I'm still very much in the process of moving in. So this is the only place I have to record right now set up, which is nothing. I have nothing set up.
I keep hearing like these kinds of noises.
Yeah.
Is that who I think it is?
Yes, so I have a little pitter patter of feet. For this episode, you will hear some pitter patter.
Don't worry, Matt. I'll be in the same boat next week when I have a fraction of a setup and like bracing myself for the chaos.
You'll see when we do Pong later, there are just boxes everywhere. Not everywhere, but like we actually got good stuff out so far. But there's gonna be some boxes when we do Pong.
Based on the pictures that I saw, it looked like you've made a lot of progress so far.
Yeah, Amelia got one of those coffee tables that comes up.
I saw.
It's game changer. Like
I
game
quite
changer
like
stuff.
those. I'm like a little jealous.
Tilting.
Can we open this?
Yeah, absolutely. I need booze so bad.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm okay with the Truly lemonade today.
Okay.
Because I'm going to go to the bar later.
I figured. Possibly.
Yeah, straight up. I've been kidnapped. This is there is someone off screen telling me to read things. This is how this is happening.
I would believe it. So tell us how it's been going. What's the deal with the move? What was the process like?
Process? I mean, let's put it this way. Mine was not that hard. Straight up. I mean, it's a lot of chaos, but you know, a 2-week window, 2.5-week window to decide you're moving. But I copped out and just paid my movers to pack my stuff too. So my movers showed up at 9 a.m. We packed my entire apartment. We drove over. I'm only 4 blocks away. So we drove 4 blocks and it was them just bringing stuff in. So it's basically this whole week has just been doing my day job, doing my writing, and also just like boxes every once in a while, just like opening one, getting rid of it, taking it down, stuff like that.
Piece by piece. I had never had movers pack my stuff up and like I moved a lot when I was living in Manhattan, but when I moved from New York to LA, that moving company that handled all that, it was just like part of their package. And I was like blown away. Those guys showed up bright and early and was just like boom, boom, boom. And then all of a sudden everything was on a truck.
I didn't do it for my New York to LA move. I did pack everything, but I think I had less stuff. That was easier because when you're moving cross country and especially you accumulate things, even press stuff, and you accumulate all these dumb little toys. Yeah, exactly. You understand this most of anybody. So like there were so many things I could just get rid of myself. So I did that packing easily. That wasn't the bigger one. For this one, I was kind of going like, oh, I live in a single bedroom apartment by myself. How bad can it be? Then I realized how much crap I've actually accumulated in 2 years here. And I'm like, oh, this is actually more than what I moved to LA with.
I just packed one of my swag crap things to bring back. It's not crap though, but it's for you. Do you know what it is?
I have things for you too. I think. Wait, what is it? Oh, yeah. Is it the boy shirt, the Hawaiian shirt?
It's
better be my Hawaiian shirt
in the bag, ready to go. I'm not going to forget it. And then I also need to make sure I pack all of my bottle caps because I am giving those to you.
I packed the Raptor mug, and I made sure the bottle cap stayed in there.
It makes me so happy. I can't wait. I can't wait.
I know. I've been sitting here for like a year and a half with that thing, and there also is one more thing. So
okay,
that'll be more of a surprise.
The anticipation is killing me. I'm so overwhelmed, though. There's so much to pack. There's so much to do. My car got fixed, though. That's a good thing.
Important.
It's a good thing to have gotten like out of the way before I actually got back there and I needed the car. Because otherwise I would have had to have rented a car because it took a while. It took a while to get that running again. A whole year and a half of a car not moving is not good.
Yeah, Amelia has a car out here, and I now see why it is that much better to have a car out here. So that is a frustrating thing for you, especially being in Burbank, and being out there is a little harder than.
Yeah, but all good now, as prepared as can be before boarding that flight, and then I need to make my way over to your place ASAP to see it.
Yeah, you do. And by then it'll be super ready. By then everything should be set up. Most boxes should be away, and the pong table will be out. Subaru Crosstrek.
I really want a Subaru Crosstrek just because of that song.
That's fair.
All right, Matt. We've got stuff to talk about. We do want to talk Black Widow and Fear Street spoilers, but of the other stories we were tossing around, what do you want to make sure we hit before then? Also, let me just tease that I have an epic beer pong partner tonight. Like, really, if you're watching this show right now, even if you have to tune out for a little because of spoilers for a movie that you haven't seen, you want to come back. You want to come back tonight. I promise you that.
I don't even know who it is. I'm believing how epic this is. I can't wait.
I didn't tell Matt. Seesaw77. Thank you so much for the super chat and also for saying this. Have a safe trip back to California, Perri. I appreciate that. All will go well.
It will. It's going to go great.
I know. I just want to rip the Band-Aid off and get it all done.
Yeah. At least you're just coming back. It's like you have a place to go back to. You have everything set up. So luckily it's just a move. Yeah.
You know what I'm stressing about, though.
I know what you're stressing about. Yep.
Well, in addition to that, I'm also stressing about walking back into my apartment and, like, one, everything being caked in dust. But two, I have
a mountain.
I have, like, legit nightmares about spiders having taken over my apartment.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, arachnophobia up in there.
I don't even I'm not scared of spiders, but I've been gone for so long that I just feel like spiders and cobwebs everywhere.
They've just taken over the apartment.
Yeah.
They've made it their home. They've set up their dinner tables.
That's what I'm anticipating.
I think you'll be okay. You've had someone checking on it. They haven't been eaten by spiders yet. You're going to be okay.
Yeah. All right, that's fair. All right, pick a news story.
We threw a few around. It's been a weird week because we're coming off a holiday weekend, so not a lot of things happening, I think, on the news front. But the things that we picked up, I mean, we can talk about Snyder just solidifying himself as a Netflix property. Like, we can go there. We can talk about Comic-Con. Oh, go ahead. Let's start with
Snyder. Start with Snyder.
All
right. So the Zack Snyder news is that his next project over at Netflix is a go, and apparently it's called Rebel Moon. And not the official synopsis. This is coming from THR. They say the story is set in motion when a peaceful colony on the edge of the galaxy is threatened by the armies of a tyrannical regent named Balsarius?
Yeah.
Desperate people dispatch a young woman with a mysterious past to seek out warriors from neighboring planets to help them make a stand. And I know at one point, this is a quote from Snyder. This is me growing up as an Akira Kurosawa fan, a Star Wars fan. It's my love of sci-fi and a giant adventure. My hope is that this also becomes a massive IP and a universe that can be built out. Very, very ambitious, but I'm all for that ambition as long as they put the focus on making one good movie first and then build it from there.
Yeah, that's always the important thing that we talk about. We talk about all the franchises that go the wrong route. We go that they try to make that 3 movies together, and here's the first one. But, like, if you stick with it, it'll pay off. Can't do that. You got to make your first movie. It's the aspect that it started out as a Star Wars pitch, and it didn't get accepted into a Star Wars movie, and that is now why we're getting it.
Where is that? I didn't read that.
That is, he reworked a Star Wars movie. So this is like another one of Snyder's things that didn't get traction when it happened.
Okay, it's not hard to see how Snyder and his team could repurpose his Star Wars idea. All right, I'm not looking at the full report right now.
So again, the basis of it is this was a Star Wars pitch. He wanted to do a Star Wars sequel or prequel, whatever it was going to be, and it did not get accepted. But I think that speaks to exactly what Netflix sees in Snyder. They know Snyder has a built-in fan base. They know that they can make him a property, as WB did with Nolan and other people. So I think, if anything, this deal solidifies the fact that Netflix is all in on Snyder. Like, they are going to let him do whatever he wants. We can build out the fact that his Army of the Dead franchise is happening. Like, we already know that. So he's got one franchise already with Netflix. He's gearing up to start this second. And I mean, we could talk about sci-fi and Kurosawa going together. We could talk about The Last Jedi being influenced by Kurosawa as well. It has plenty of samurai stuff in there. So it's not exactly a new concept, but it's what Snyder wants to play around with, and it's him doing something different and new because he hasn't tackled this yet. So listen, if it's good, it's good. There ain't no prejudice here. Yeah,
I'm very, very into this idea. I mean, I will literally give anything Snyder tries a shot. Anything.
We'll give anything.
At all. Yeah. And I'm also, like, speaking of this project over at Netflix, I'm also very, very excited about Army of Thieves and just the way that franchise is being built out in general. Like, I really did like Army of the Dead. I know there's some mixed reaction out there to it, but I like that movie a lot. I like that cast of characters, and I feel like there was some planning involved because now we're getting a prequel with someone who happened to be my favorite character of that movie. And it's a really interesting swing to take, to go from Army of the Dead with zombies to Army of Thieves that completely removes the zombies and just focuses on a heist and safe cracking. I mean, that's a bold swing. I'm curious to see how fans of Army of the Dead respond to that kind of switch, and how they go about making it different, but also feel connected to that film. That's going to be quite the challenge because, we always talk about Zack Snyder's visual style too. This is a different director doing Army of Thieves. It's the guy who plays
exactly
Matthias Schweighöfer. He's starring in it and he's directing it. So I am just very eager to see what that's all about.
Yeah, and then just 2 comments on the Snyder thing. Does he have a co-writer at least? I hope so, because I really hope that I will voice again my thoughts on Snyder is that he does his best work when he's directing and someone else is writing. So I very much hope so, AJ Post, that he has a co-writer on this and maybe he has some help writing the script.
He is co-writing.
He's co-writing. Okay,
so this co-writing. Snyder is co-writing the script with Army of the Dead co-screenwriter Shay Hatton and Kurt Johnstad.
That doesn't make me feel any better because I am, as Perri said, there are some people who have not great thoughts on Army of the Dead, and I am one of them. So now I am less enthusiastic. In any case, Tinker Weasel saying Snyder adapted a retired legacy novel, but Eisner pulled the plug just before he left Disney's Caravan. So right there, you're adapting from a retired legacy novel of Star Wars, and now you're just turning it into your own IP. So cool.
I need to read up on this a little more. That sounds very exciting to me.
Yeah.
I also what is your logo there? Your avatar. I quite like it. What is that? What is that? Is that a cat or is that a fox?
Could be Red Panda, possibly Red Panda.
Or is it a weasel?
Let me go Red Panda. Tinker Weasel. Is that a Tinker Weasel? Is there such a thing as a Tinker Weasel?
I like it already. All right, so we've covered our Snyder. Now we need to talk about this Comic-Con stuff. All right, so I'm
a lot of implications.
I'm reading from the Slash Film article you sent me, Matt. Blah 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 blah. Deadline has the story, and they say both blockbuster giants, as in Marvel and DC, are bowing out of the upcoming Comic-Con at home. And in addition to that, do they also have the information that Warner Brothers isn't participating? Because I know they're out. It's in the title. I don't know why they just say Marvel Marvel and DC. Marvel and DC at the top. Oh, because like DC Warner Brothers. My brain is not I'm very overwhelmed right now, guys. Give me a break.
We're both like in the same chaotic bubble right now, so don't worry.
It really is. It's funny that we're both doing this at the same time. But like my mind is in a million places and like none of them are the right ones. But like duh. I was thrilled and honored to be part of a Comic-Con at Home panel last year, but that didn't go very well. I don't think that the release strategy of those videos was thought through very well. And I also think that, I think that a lot of studios were already learning this, but I think that the pandemic sped this up. And it's the fact that these studios can host their own stuff. I mean, you've got Disney that has Star Wars Celebration. DC did DC Fandom last year.
Right.
Now you have all this like Netflix geek stuff. They're doing their own stuff. They don't need comic conventions anymore, or not as much. Not so, and especially when it's still virtual and doesn't come with the fanfare of being there in person, like it doesn't surprise me that they just don't think it's worth spending the money.
Doing the at-home stuff is like the nail in the coffin there. If we're in person again, if we're doing full Comic-Cons, that's one thing. But I kind of say like even doing full Comic-Cons, I don't know if it's worth it for them fully because then we go back to the idea that the full Comic-Cons when they were there, they were still live streaming everything immediately. So what's the point?
We were having those discussions before the pandemic even happened. I mean, I remember for like at least 2 years before we went to virtual things that it was always a like, oh, Disney's sitting out this year. Warner Brothers, like, is this the end of convention? Like, it's not the end. It's just they're evolving, they're changing. That's what this is.
And yeah, so Comic-Con didn't stream everything, but still, like, there were things that you could stream on Comic-Con, and everything would leak, everything would do anything anyway. So, I mean, for me, I was never really big into the cons anyway. I covered New York a few times and never made it to San Diego, but it's just not my vibe. I know these are things we're going to see a week later, and I don't have to be there to see it first. I know it's a huge deal to the people that are there, and I'm not taking that away from them at all. The people that love it, like, God bless. Yeah. It wasn't my beat to cover. I'm a reviewer. I like doing that side of things, so I never got into it, but it just makes total sense. As the brands are becoming so strong, they don't need to be there. They can control their own con, and they can do it themselves, as you just said before. Fandom, all those things. They don't need anyone else to help them hype their products now. Their products are hyping themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Comic-Con atmosphere. So if it does dwindle, I will miss that a good deal. But I would always get very excited by seeing footage, just because I love movies and I love seeing footage. It simply makes me happy. But the priority for me with conventions was always, the networking and the community more so than anything. I think that's the main thing that I would miss out on. And, to be frank about it, it was a big deal to me when I got to host those few panels. Like, I don't want those opportunities to go away either. But
no, that's huge. Hosting is 100%. That is different.
Could be heading down that path. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say, I don't think it's going to go away ever. Yeah. I just think it's going to be contained to more. It's going to be sectioned off by exactly what brand it is. You're just going to get the hype machine for Disney, the hype machine for DC, the hype machine for Marvel. You're not going to need a massive together anymore. It's how they do it too. It's how they want to do it. They don't want to bring themselves together with a bunch of other like properties. They want to do it on their own.
Yeah, I don't know. When you put it that way, it makes makes my heart ache even more for conventions as we knew them, because as excited as I can get about specific franchises, there aren't very many opportunities to see so many things that you love converge on one place.
Well, and it's also just part of the industry changing, like you said before. Like, this is the industry as a whole changing, because a lot of these large companies don't have to play nice anymore. As everything starts to get absorbed into like 1, 2, and 3 companies, they can just control a large market, and they don't have to, again, play nice. There doesn't have to be this unifying factor. If it keeps going the way it's going, and major studios are getting acquired by even more major studios, we're not going to have a need for all these, bring everyone together and have a show-off convention, because one company is just going to have their own convention, and it's going to be like a third of the market, which isn't good, mind you. I don't want to.
No, I know what you mean. Saying a quick hello to Steven, and then it's Caleb time.
Also before we get to that, someone did say they love Black Widow and asked if we're going to get there. And just a reminder, we will do Black Widow and Fear Street in a little bit. We're going to get there.
Okay. I can't find whoever said that, but we will.
Just throwing it out there.
What do we know in football land right now? Is there anything? I haven't heard a single thing.
We're still dead zone. Honestly, right now we're dead zone until training camps and preseason.
Okay.
So I will echo once again. I'm screwed. Texans are gonna suck. This is gonna be terrible. Whatever.
Yeah. I mean, that is what it feels like. I'll tell you one thing that I'm not packing to bring back to LA. Certain jersey that I bought.
That is I advise you to do it. We did not know anything that was happening, so I feel bad, but that is a terrible thing.
It's not your fault.
I know.
It's not your fault. I still remember my fantasy football experience and my win fondly.
You get a win. Everything was good for there, but not anymore.
All right. What do you want to talk spoilers first for? Are we doing Black Widow first or Fear Street first? Actually, how about the comments tell us? What do you want to hear about first?
Sure. Yeah.
Black Widow spoilers or Fear Street 1978 spoilers? I will give you a moment to sound off.
While that moment's happening, Perri, if you were a filmmaker, would you have the audacity to try to remake Night of the Living Dead? because that is one of the curious topics from this week, is that we're getting an animated Night of the Living Dead, which can, and these remakes can keep happening because it's public domain. It's a weird flaw that happened in 1968. Their copyrights did not go right. So like Night of the Living Dead is something any filmmaker can just remake and do whatever they want with. But like as a filmmaker, I'm actually curious, like, this is a classic. Do you come into here and go like, I'm going to remake a classic and you're all going to love my take? Like the balls that would take, I think.
I don't dare. I wouldn't dare touch something like that. But I was about to say I wouldn't dare touch any kind of classic, but like, you know what movie that I think I really could do a good job with if they let me? I think I could make a really good Final Destination movie. Like I feel very confident in myself. Like I could do that. Remaking Night of the Living Dead though? No. You said it was animated?
Yeah, so that's the hook for this one. There's going to be a new animated one.
I think animated gives you enough distance from like the real deal. Or maybe I'm just being more open-minded because I finished and loved Camp Cretaceous so much.
Fair.
That I think that there's some like really exciting room to play when it comes to animated things. But
Cretaceous is its own story. Cretaceous is an original. I give them all the credit.
It's its own story, but it has some like pretty significant crossover as far as the live action material we see unfolding. I mean, it directly affects all that stuff and directly pulls from it. Yeah. So it's like, it's not a 1-for-1. It's not the same thing as this Night of the Living Dead thing, but they're like kind of adjacent.
Yeah, I just think that's such a move to come out there and be like, I'm gonna go remake Night of the Living Dead because I can. It's like, you can, but should you? Like, is that a thing? I just think for a filmmaker that is a hefty burden to take on, and also if you don't do that justice, you're just going to be another one of many terrible remakes. Like there's like 2 Day of the Dead remakes, and both of them are so bad.
Since when does since when does the fear of ruining a classic stop anyone in Hollywood? Like they're gonna take a swing and do it anyway.
Yeah, I just think there's times to remake, and there's All
right, let's talk spoilers here. So, Vanya, you're confusing me. You say widow, but then you're like, don't spoil anything. This is a spoiler review, my friend. Do we want to give ourselves 10 minutes on this and 10 minutes on 1978?
10. Yeah, that would bring us pretty much where we need to be.
So this is what's going on right now. Until 8:05 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to talk Black Widow spoilers. So if you want to mute us until then because you haven't seen the movie, go for it. If you feel like spoiling it for yourself, I don't know why you would do that, but it's going to happen right now if you leave the volume on. So let's do it. Let's talk Black Widow. First, Matt, what do you think about it overall? Because I've already shared my thoughts on it, and everybody here knows that I'm a very big fan of this movie.
Yeah, I literally just finished it a minute before we started. That's why we started late. I'll admit that was my fault. I just finished Black Widow because I thought I gave myself enough time.
It's your fault. I lied. It's your fault like 85% of the time.
Like 75%. Give me 75.
Fine. I'll give you 75.
In any case, I enjoyed it. I think I enjoyed it for the sister aspects. I enjoyed it for the chemistry between Florence Pugh and Scarlett Johansson. I think all that stuff played really, really well. I think it's a Disney-fied version of the trauma that they go through. So it's never going to get as deep as it should get. And maybe it's a little more happy-go-lucky in points than it ever should have been. But that's also the Disney machine. You knew exactly what we were going to get from this, and we knew exactly how they're going to play out the passing of the torch, we'll say. And for how they did it, who they introduced, and the characters they're playing. I mean, David Harbour is great playing this terrible, terrible character that gets a few too many passes, but he's also very charming at it. So for everything that I saw, for everything I walked away with, I still walked away feeling satisfied in a way. Maybe not where it should have gone, but again, I knew it was never going to go there.
Well, I will tell you that if it wanted to dig into that kind of trauma in a real world grounded way, it wouldn't have been an MCU movie. That would have been like a devastating hard R. You couldn't do that to the fullest.
Fred Sparrow.
I mean, well, there you go.
Yeah. Which I hate. I hate Red Sparrow. I think it's atrocious. I don't
remember it clearly enough to comment on it now,
so bad with and again, it's terrible at doing the trauma arc. but just
All
in a
right.
way worse way where it shows you everything and it doesn't do anything with it. So like you're abused over and over again by the characters being abused on camera, and then it just like walks away and you're kind of like, was there a lesson? Did you want to do anything but show us how these women are just abused
Well,
horribly?
yeah. I mean that's obviously a big thing. I think they dealt with that as much as they could have while making this feel like a Marvel movie that moviegoers of all age could watch and digest and appreciate, because even like I'm down for the dark stuff all the time and I want a real layered story, but I also don't want to alienate a certain amount of this fan base. So I understand the route that they went with in terms of that. A big thing here where it seems like a lot of the fandom is divided is the use of Taskmaster. And
Okay.
I, for one, was very into that character. But that is coming from someone who is not familiar with the source material. And based on the source material, I don't have any understanding of the potential that that character offered this movie, if you know what I mean. So all I can do is judge purely how Taskmaster is used in this particular movie and how that character serves Natasha's story and Natasha's growth. And from that angle, I think it was put to great use and extremely effective.
Yeah, I come from the
I love
same.
how I'm trying to like not spoil it by not using
we can say that
right now.
Yeah, no, wait, we're doing a spoiler review.
Yeah,
the
go
fact
for
that
it.
it is, the fact that you think, all right, well, I'll take a step back and I'll say I agree with you because I approach these movies the same way you do. I do not have the same knowledge base as comic book fans. I'm addressing these MCU movies for how they come in movie format. So again, I don't know the origins of Taskmaster outside of the MCU. I know typically played by a male character and maybe not in the same lineage that they are in right now, but doing so, I like a movie that kind of changes what we know about a character. I'm a fan of like recasting and regendering and all these things. So I don't see an issue. I don't see an issue with how they presented this Taskmaster. And again, you've tied it to Natasha. You've tied it to her thinking that she's defeated and brought down the Red Room, starting from the top. And it turns out that not only has she failed, but she has basically created her adversary and created Taskmaster. So like that whole thing, I think, is very interesting in the context of Black Widow.
Well, I think one thing that the Marvel Cinematic Universe is doing quite well, I think it's always done this to a degree, but I think it's exploring it pretty extensively in its most recent installments, is, really dissecting what it means to be a hero. And even sometimes when you think you're doing the best possible thing, your actions can impact so many more people out there, and you can completely change the course of other people's lives. And I think this is just like a very specific version of that Natasha kind of has to, deal with and process in order to move on with her life. And when you think about it on such a like a micro level, with her looking at a very specific individual where she thought she made the right move and she did this to this person and that's the course it put her on. And then when you think about the choices that she makes going forward in Infinity War and Endgame and sacrificing herself for the greater good, for those that she loves and for the greater good as well, I think that what went down here winds up amplifying that.
Yeah, I absolutely see that. And I mean, again, for me, I'm here for the banter and the beats between Johansson and Pugh because, again, this is the passing of the torch, as the end credits very much show. This is where we're getting Florence's character taking over, and that setup had to make me excited enough to be excited about her continuation in the MCU. And am I excited to see Florence move forward as the quote-unquote new Black Widow in a way? Yeah, I am, because she nails this character. The way she interacts with Natasha is so great, down to like the vest moment and making, like, I know whatever, like making fun of the superhero pose is a thing, but there is a banter between the two that is very lively and fun, and she will be able to fit in and stand toe to toe with all these other Avengers. That's the biggest thing. Like I'm very much sold on her presence standing next to any other Avenger.
Yeah, based on that end credit scene, it's not like a traditional passing of the torch. It's not like we're trading one.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's not here. Yeah.
I'm very curious to see where that goes. I mean, between what we get as far as teases from Black Widow now, and then also the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I'm just like that sounds to me like it's definitely setting up, not necessarily the big bad for the next phase of the MCU, but you know, at least part of it.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, yeah, we're going into a part of the MCU that we have not traversed before and it's going to be different. But I'm thinking of it in context with the movies because the movies we're getting are very much like Eternals and Doctor Strange 2, and it's very not of Earth. It's very cosmic, and there's the cosmic aspect is really coming into the next phase of the MCU. But with what we're setting up in the television aspects between, like you just said, Winter Soldier and this isn't television. I take it back. This is just streaming.
Hawkeye.
Yeah, exactly. Ultimately, Hawkeye. So there's just so many things going on, and now I'm trying to like fit. Florence is taking over here, and it's kind of like that. I hope it doesn't get lost in everything because I feel like this is pretty big. Like this is a pretty big substitution in a way, but I feel like it doesn't get lost in everything else that's going on in the MCU.
I have an important question for you. Do you think you're on a first name basis with Florence Pugh because there's a photo of you two from the Critics' Choice Award that legit looks like you're on a date?
Yo, me and Florence P are.
Do you have that photo handy? I would love to show the group if you could text it to me.
I can I think it's like on my phone somewhere.
Just to, while you're looking for it, just to address another issue, which I talked about in my non-spoiler review, but I could talk about it a little more freely here right now. And it's the complaint that Black Widow finally gets a solo movie and it's stolen from her by the other cast members. I don't think that's the case whatsoever. I mean, almost any movie, but I guess especially now with Marvel movies, they're leaning very heavily into the ensemble. But literally, at this point in its run, when you're creating a movie for a character who we already know is dead. Like, the whole point of this is to amplify what came before for her, but also to show her influence on the MCU going forward. And literally none of the new characters featured in this movie that are part of the main ensemble could have moved on with their lives if not for their encounter with Natasha. Natasha is experiencing her own personal growth in this movie, but she is also directly influencing the arcs that they experience. So just because you have really good supporting performances and fun standout characters to watch does not mean the movie's being stolen from her, because she literally has her hands in every corner of this movie and has them there and uses them to great effect.
Yeah, so I said that when the first reactions came out. We were talking about the first reactions that I had not seen the film by that point. So that was my biggest thing. I just said out loud, like, I'm nervous now hearing that a lot of people think we finally get a Black Widow movie and it's not about Black Widow. But after having seen it, it was very much about Black Widow, and I know she's sharing screen time with other characters, and like, again, David Harbour has a great presence and he's a big performer, so he's going to stand out in those scenes as well. But between everyone on camera at the same time, it's never not about Natasha. It is Natasha's movie. She's, like you just said, she's just sharing it with other very good actors and actresses, so it just becomes this like detracting factor, but I don't think it does. Like, I think it very much is a shared film. It's an ensemble piece, and as most Marvel films are, that is exactly how it shakes out. Because if we look at other origin stories, I mean, Thor had, go back to the very first like Thor movie, like, he had a whole posse around him. So yeah, that was Thor's origin, but he was sharing the screen with a lot of other people at the same time. So it's not unheard of to do in these Marvel movies, as long as the title character is still remaining the focus of the narrative and plot, and that is Natasha the entire time.
All right, before we go into Fear Street, can we just look at this adorable photo? Like, do they not look like they're on a date? Like, where am I?
Zach Braff. Get out, Zach Braff.
Matt perfectly positioned himself in front of me so it could be just them. But I swear, I am behind Matt's head, and there's probably a champagne glass to my lips.
There are too many pictures of that happening.
I know, there is. All right. Fear Street.
We have a super chat of this.
All right, super chat and then Fear Street. So for anyone coming back to us, you are free and clear of Black Widow spoilers. All right, Mitchell Miller. My biggest issue with the film. Oh no, wait, put it back up. Put it back up.
Spoilers. Yeah, this is very much Black Widow. Black Widow.
My biggest issue with the film was how much of a pass the parents got, even though they perpetuated this evil / trauma, especially the mother. The sentimental ending with them didn't land at all with me. That's interesting.
So I think that's what we're kind of talking about before, where Disney was never going to go the places that it had to go with this story. I mean, the fact of the matter is it kind of plays off. We have a conversation between the two sisters, and now Redguard has come back in the picture after being saved from the prison. They save the man that put them in the Red Room, and they talk about the horrific things that they do to girls in the Red Room, and they start just by saying they rip out their reproductive organs, but then it turns into a thing like, you know, Redguard just doesn't want to hear it, so it stops, and it becomes this little throwaway, like, joke in a way, which it's not a joke. Like, that should have continued the entire film, and the trauma should have been very present because these girls were abused in the Red Room. It very much never is going to get that dark because it's a Disney MCU movie. But I do kind of agree with this. Like, I agree in the sense that, like, oh, Disney could never do that. But why though? Because, like, it's a human emotion. Trauma is a terrible thing. And we can't just say it's a Disney movie and give it that pass because it's not realistic at all. And it's a superhero movie. It's not meant to be realistic. I know, but, like, still, trauma is very fucking real.
I think this is a very fair criticism. I'm not saying that I gave it a pass in that respect because it's a Disney movie, but I guess my pass comes from the fact that tonally and within the franchise, it made sense to me the way that was conveyed. Like, obviously, I thought about how terrible the two of them really were as parents. I mean, I'm sure they had some good moments with those kids, but ultimately they sent them down a pretty dismal path. And you know, ultimately, I also think that the parents were conditioned to believe that, like, this was part of their job and it was a necessity. Whereas when you think about the emotional connection between Yelena and Natasha, like, they were blank slates. They were kids that grew up in that kind of environment. They're not processing it the same way that their parents do. And I think it's on them ultimately as adults now to convey some of the importance of that to them, which they do. But I think that no matter what, and no matter how strong that is, it's never going to be a situation where, like, us in the real world want to give those parents a fresh start or a pass in any sense, because, you know, what they put children through is pretty unforgivable. I mean, I'm a big believer in second chances, but that's some dark stuff.
It is. And again, like, we bring up Red Sparrow because it's like, again, you can go the other way and unfortunately fail doing the same thing. So it's that balancing act where you have to be able to show the trauma for as bad as it is, however you do it, but also come back with some kind of message that necessitates showing said trauma. So it's finding either going heavy enough into it or maybe not going heavy enough into it, but still, like, making an impact. And I feel like the MCU version kind of glances over it. Maybe they kind of failed with that. I think they failed there a little bit, and it's still the MCU, so they were never going to. I understand that. I still think that's a little bit of a fault there. But then again, Red Sparrow does the exact opposite, and it's something I hate as well. So playing that game is so tightrope.
Even all the Red Sparrow hate is kind of making me want to rewatch it. I feel like I've completely forgotten the large majority of that movie.
It's not worth the rewatch.
All right, let's hit Annabelle's chat and then get into Fear Street.
Yep.
Annabelle is here. Thank you so much for your support, as always. You are very generous, and it's greatly appreciated.
Always.
Buckled in for the chat, and happy weekend to all. Any theories on Wolverine news popping up? Lastly, any VOD recommendations for the weekend? The excellence you both exude is an understatement. The VOD thing is freaking easy because I'm full-blown obsessed with these Fear Street movies. Like, I'm obsessed. I am not going to reveal how many times that I've watched the first two, but I can't stop watching them. And also through one of my, like, PR lists, they sent me the soundtrack, the score. Like, now I watch the movies over and over at night, and while I'm working, I'm listening to this. Like, I live in Shadyside right now.
I've been listening to the Spotify scores. I 100% have been listening to them, and they are very good.
It is so good. It's a Marco Beltrami score. Well, like, how was I not going to listen to it over and over?
And I'll save some comments for when we talk about 78, because I think 78 is a baller soundtrack. But VOD, Sun just hit Shudder if you have Shudder, which I liked a good deal. It's basically just about a mother and a son. Very not hard to pick, but the son falls victim to some kind of disease. Maybe it involves eating people, maybe it doesn't, and the mother has to do unspeakable things to keep her child alive. Also, that might be a cult chasing them. It gets very psychological horror and trippy, and I like that about it. It very much plays it as a let the right one in kind of spin, but then it goes off on its own path. So All I'm going to say on it, Sun is on Shudder. I think that's good. Also, the Wolverine stuff. I'm curious because Hugh Jackman is posting pictures basically with like him and Feige, and again, like he posted Boss Logic, I think is the guy who does those posters.
Boss Logic is great.
Yeah, he's great. So he posted the poster of the Wolverine claws. So
makes sense to me. I'm not going to get ahead of myself, but
yeah, but like somebody said, if you're going to recast, like put Karl Urban in there. So I'm kind of like now I want to see Karl Urban doing this thing. I don't know. I just want to see
Karl Urban too, but like that role is Jackman's to me.
No, it is. It is. I'm not taking that away at all. And like after doing Logan, I'm if he wants to come back after doing Logan, I am so happy for him too, because that movie is so good and he has a huge reason why it's so good. So
Fear Street. All right.
Yeah.
Let's give ourselves 10 minutes of Fear Street. That puts us at 8:23 p.m. Eastern. So this is your Fear Street 1978 spoiler warning until 8:23 p.m. Eastern. And then again, beer pong happens right after, and you want to watch beer pong.
Right after.
You want to watch
beer pong. I don't know why you want to watch beer pong, but you do want to watch beer pong, apparently.
You do. Matt, I love Fear Street 1978. It is so stabby. It's so stabby.
So talk about the stabby for a minute while I get a beer.
All right. I feel like I'm jumping right to the end of this movie, but did anyone expect how violent the end of this thing gets? The heart and the core of this movie is the relationship between Cindy and Ziggy. They are teed up as your main characters. You don't often see something like that happen to your main characters at the end. So, two completely different types of kills here. But like I will never forget the bread slicer kill in 1994, I will never forget the way that Cindy Berman is killed at the end of Fear Street 1978.
I equated that a little bit to the Final Girls, when you have Malin Ackerman's character and like that moment of Betty Davis' Eyes is always going to be a song that equates to that death and that loss. And I very much had that same, not to the same extent. I still think Final Girls is better, but I had that same emotional kind of reaction to watching them die. And like, that's hard like that. And especially because both of them are getting stabbed at the same time repeatedly by like the two, Jason and the Michael characters. So it's a lot to take in. And yeah, those like they don't pull away. They don't pull away. Oh yeah, it's a Jason and Michael. Like that's
the Nightwing Killer is obviously Jason, and then the Milkman is very Michael.
They don't hide it. They don't do very much to hide it, because like even the Milkman is just in the jumpsuit and has the white face, whether it's a mask or not. And again, Nightwing Killer is Baghead.
Burned.
Oh, is he burned? But like it still has that whiteness. And then Baghead Jason is the Nightwing Killer. Like that is exactly what it is.
Just like Lee Janiak just lets the camera sit on Emily Rudd.
And it's just and I agree with you. It's brutal in a way that a lot of movies like they can't get away with. And it's funny because I praised 94 for using its R rating in a way that did not oversell the body count. 94 was very good at making a few deaths impactful, where here's where we differ a little bit. I feel like 78 is just using the slashings just to kind of go against the 80s, not 70s, 80s slasher vibe. And it's what we expect. And they are brutal, don't get me wrong. I give credit to the Nightwing Killer because those are mighty swings, but it's just over and over again. And it kind of loses a little bit of its impact, I want to say.
I would say the exact opposite of it. I think that the color war setup for a slasher scenario.
Oh, it's a great setup.
It couldn't have been a better setup, though, to amplify what it means to live in Shadyside versus Sunnyvale. You have the Nightwing Killer running rampant through this camp and only killing Shadyside kids. And if you don't have a body count that high, and if you don't have such like vicious killings, then you don't fully process the fact that like this is why a lot of Shadysiders think that like they're just fucked in life. They're doomed, because if you have a Shadysider and a Sunnyvaler standing side by side and one of those slashers coming your way, only one of them is gonna get like, the short stick. Like that's literally what their entire lives are because of this curse.
Yeah, I think the Sunnyvale Shadyside, the social commentary of it alone, that is what's keeping me in Fear Street 100%. And again, I liked 78. Don't get me wrong, I liked 78, But the sustaining factor so far of these two movies is not that they're playing off nostalgia. It's not the fact that like we get to see Michael and Jason just in like different forms. That's all very good. Do not get me wrong. And I think 94 again does a tremendous job, more than 78. But the commentary between Shady Side and Sunnyvale and how these children feel trapped in Shady Side and like how that influences their decisions and how that it's a fate they were just born into. They didn't have a choice. Like that's some heavy stuff. And so far in the two movies, I feel like that narrative is the thing that sustains so well. And the kills are great. The bread slicer is amazing. I don't think we got anything on the bread slicer level in this movie. I will admit we got like a decapitation and we did get the stabbings. Don't get me wrong. But I still think of like creative gore. The bread slicer is just bar none one of the best things I'll see all year. And again, that's why I thought 78 was kind of slashing. I get it, brutal, crazy, but this one just felt a little more beholden to its Friday the 13th roots, where I feel like 94 got away more with being Scream without completely getting lost in being Scream. It told its original story, where I think the Nightwing Killer, I think it struggles more. There.
I'll disagree with that, but
you can.
I mean, also to be fair, like I'll just reveal how much I've watched these movies. I think I've watched Fear Street 1994 5 times. I think I've watched Fear Street 1978 4 times. And you know, I'll tell you guys. I'm not allowed to tell you what I think about it, but I've seen 1666. And I don't think because of the big mystery unfolding, any of them will ever feel like they lean too hard on the generation of slasher films that they're trying to channel. I truly believe that the way that they approach 70s and 90s slashers is somehow the pitch perfect balance between exploring this particular mystery and paying homage to those films in a way that's using the pillars of what makes those types of slasher movies work. Okay. In a justifiable way, in a way that's not just being like, aha, see what we did there. It's actually supporting and making this particular story that you're telling better.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I said about 94. I agree with you. 94 is so good at that. It's its own story. It's playing off the R.L. Steinness of it all. It's not just Scream over again. Because how many times have both of us just seen Scream over again? And it's never as good because you have filmmakers who just want to make sure you know that they saw the entire Scream franchise and like, here's what we can do. No, Fear Street very much feels like Fear Street through and through. I do think though, here's the thing I do love about 78 though. I'll go back to the positives. What you said about that score, you are getting right back to like the Harry Manfredi stuff where you have the Jason specific soundtrack beats. You just hear like the squealing string instruments. Like it is just quintessential Friday the 13th stuff, and it works its way into these scores. And it's seamless. It's not a thing you know immediately, and all of a sudden it just sounds like you're watching a Friday the 13th movie. And that's a testament to how they do these scores. It is so good, and I will listen to them over and over again. It's
like in 94, how there's certain, like tones and instruments used that are very specific to Scream, and I love hearing that. It like automatically sparks a certain kind of emotional response from me that feels very reminiscent of that, but very effective for this. But I just
but it's even down to like Jason. The Jason comparisons go down to the Nightwing Killer just hating doors. It's just hatred of like busting doors down is so Jason. You have this great shot where he sticks his hand through the door and you just see him like jostling it from that side. And again, that's a picture perfect pull from a Friday the 13th movie. Like what it's doing, it's so good at that. Perfect. But but
so good.
Even the Dookie scene.
The cinematographer on this is shooting Stranger Things season 4. So if you're into the way that these movies look, you're in luck for that show. But like, there's also no talking about Fear Street without talking about casting director Carmen Cuba, because like, holy shit.
Casting's great.
Holy
Casting's
shit.
Been really on point.
Could the cast of these movies get any better?
No, it's been very good.
Did you watch the 1666 teaser?
I did not yet.
Okay.
Oh, the teaser. Yes, I saw the teaser. Yeah.
What are you thinking based on the teaser?
Well, I mean, what do you want? Like, how far do you want
to go? Like, what are like your expectations? Because you haven't seen 1666.
I have not yet. I just
hit
my
inbox.
inbox.
What you're hoping to get from that, and what certain individuals' involvement are making you think about.
What I hope to get from this. All right, I'm not gonna say what I hope to get from it. What I think is gonna happen is we are gonna find out that as the social commentary in these movies is leading us to believe and what we think, Sunnyvale is very snobbish, and Sunnyvale wants to stay away from Shadyside, and they're the lesser people, blah, 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 blah. But it's very much, I think, going to get to the point where Sunnyvale is the reason that Shadyside has the curse. I think that Sunnyvale is going to be, whether it's people in Sunnyvale specifically, whether it's Sunnyvale itself, they are the ones ensuring that Shadyside stays what it is so they can remain superior. And I think it's going to start with the Sarah Fier origin, which is 66, I'm assuming. I don't know, I'm just saying. And we're going to find out that the Sunnyvale people were the ones that killed Sarah Fier and somehow have cursed Shadyside themselves while they sit there and they in their gold-plated mansions and things like that. So I think that's where we're going to get to. That's my prediction. Because you have a Shadysider now going into the body of Sarah Fier, whether, however they're playing that, however they're going to do that.
You mean like when someone bleeds on her bones? Oh, I see what you mean.
No, yeah. The teaser very much shows that Dina, whether it becomes or doesn't become Sarah Fier in 66, that is what it is. So I think that's just a really strong metaphor for the fact that a Shadysider is going into Sarah Fier. And I again, I've not seen it. This is prediction, but I think we're going to find out that Sunnyvale is the reason all this is happening.
I'm obsessed with this. I can't wait until
you're like, I want to say things, but I
can't wait until next week when we can talk about the whole trilogy. And I can also tease Ash Zuckerman, who plays Nick Good, is going to be on Witching Hour next week. And
little Nick Good was very good.
Yeah, he was very good. I think his name was Ted Sutherland. And yeah, like I felt really bad when I published my review and I didn't talk about him much, but like I kind of can't talk about what I appreciated about his work so much because it's a trilogy. Like I thought he was very, very good and very effective if I'm just like narrowing my focus to 78 alone. But there's a lot more I want to say about that.
That's fair. One final question before we move on or whatever we do here. What do you say to people who think that it just rips off the source material rather than pays homage? And I want to say this out loud because I think that if you were saying it's just ripping off the source material, you're not looking that far into what's happening. Because once again, Perri, how many horror movies specifically do we see that are just blatantly ripping off source material? You don't really have an idea. You just know you want to make the next Scream, as an example.
Or like the next found footage movie or
exactly. Like exactly. Found footage, exactly. We're going to do the next Paranormal Activity. And there is a clear distinction, I believe, between ripping off the source and basically paying homage, because paying homage works it in gently into an original story. Ripping off the source very clearly doesn't have any ideas but ripping off the source.
I can't give you the mathematical formula for why I think this is the case, but I truly do believe that Lee Janiak and her team hit the pitch perfect balance between paying homage to those films, but also using those things to make their story work especially well. And that's the thing. It's like, yeah, Fear Street is leaning into the 90s and the 70s slasher of it all thus far. But it's also got its own very creative mythology at the core and a cast of characters that are like extremely well layered and spark hugely emotional connections with each other and with us as viewers. Like they have a foundation all on their own without the 90s and 70s of it all. And that's what makes it not something that's just ripping off those old movies in my mind. It's just using what came before it in a way that I find very respectful, but also being used in a way that further strengthens the material that they've created.
Yeah, I agree, because what I said in my 94 review is very much what I believe, and what I said in my 94 review is very much they are telling the story of Fear Street and just using the cinematic DNA of It Follows, of Scream. It's just I like, there are so many horror movies to watch, and I guess when we watch as many as we do, it becomes easier for us to tell because I have 20 comparisons in the last 4 weeks of just ripoffs, blatant ripoffs. But if you're not watching all of this, I guess you can see how it's harder to detect that. But these Fear Street movies are not doing that. These Fear Street movies are very much telling a very distinct narrative that we aren't seeing outside of Fear Street, and it's just saying, hey, we also love Scream and Friday the 13th. I think 94 is still better than 78 at doing it, but I still think they're both doing it out of love, and they're doing it to still tell their own story. That's the distinction. They're telling their own story and invested in that.
Yes.
Go.
One point, or one thing I want to bring up before we go into beer pong. Chan, I don't mean to put you on the spot here, but I don't like the B word, biased. What do you even mean by that? Why am I biased? Is it because I like horror movie? Like that's not being biased. Biased is if, let's say, my best friend in the world made this movie and I can't separate myself from that fact. So I'm churning out a review to support them because I have an agenda. First of all, if that was ever the case, I wouldn't review that movie because my review wouldn't be fair and it would be swayed by something that I couldn't distance myself from. So if I have reviewed any movie on this YouTube channel, it's because I have no bias and I am trying to come at that movie with the most open mind possible, whether it's a genre that I do tend to like and enjoy because I am drawn to it because that is my natural taste, or maybe it's something that I find that I don't usually like and I want to come at it with that open mind and maybe have my mind changed on a certain matter. But one way or the other, every single movie that is reviewed on this channel is reviewed with an open mind and an open heart and with zero bias whatsoever. Thank you for watching this episode, and thank you for your comment, though, because I've been meaning to point that out because I've seen that too many times.
It's easy to call bias, though, because there are people in the industry who are. And that the problem is they might make a bad name for it. But like there's so many differences between those people and people who know what they're doing, like us. I think it's very easy to tell, even if you have a horror bias. Like, sure, do you give every horror movie 10 out of 10? No, you do not. It is no.
There's one more point on this. There's also a very big difference between personal taste and bias, because that's why reviews are so exciting to me, is because we're all unique individuals who are drawn to different things. That's why I seek out multiple reviews from many people, because our unique taste is what makes conversations about movies exciting. But that taste isn't the same as having a bias. And I think that is it's a distinction that we don't make as much as we should.
So Anya Stanley said something that brings me back to this a little bit, and she just made an offhanded comment about how like it's criticism right now in reviewing movies is very interesting because everyone wants to be right, but there is no being right in criticism. Like, and the way I kind of interpret it is that criticism used to be a conversation to me, but now it's a competition. When again, that is not what this is. Like, we're not all competing to say who is right, like the most right about a movie. That's not what it is at all. It's what Perri just said. Like, when I write a review, it's going to be very different than the one Perri writes or records, because we have very different viewpoints. We have very different tastes on films, as she just said. And that is what makes this interesting. But I feel like the internet dilutes that down to like, if you don't like something as much as someone else, you're wrong, which is a very dumb thing to do. And I'm not saying that anyone here does that, but I am seeing criticism itself becoming less about putting an opinion out to the world and talking to people about that, because that's what criticism should be. Here is my review. Now talk to me, because we're going to have very differing opinions. And I know that. It is not I'm right, you're wrong. There is like, that is not what this is about anymore. But that is what the internet and algorithms like to make it into.
Matt, I'll never tell you you are wrong, but I will tell you I strongly disagree with you sometimes.
Exactly. That is exactly it. It's not you're wrong.
Right.
It's I have a different opinion, or you're a fucking idiot. That's fine too.
Yeah? Well, I wouldn't say that, but okay.
I'm kidding.
I know. Vanya's here with a super chat. Alexander Daddario, whoop whoop. Are your eye color? What are your eye colors? I'm hazel. What are you, Matt? You blue?
I'm blue. You can't really see it right now, but
yeah. You're blue.
It's better when I have like something blue on. They like boom.
Yeah.
Like when Jessica Chastain told me that my eyes look like crystals.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Favorite clip ever. Still have that saved.
What junket was that at? I think that was the one where she was paired with Oscar Isaac, and it's an
act of violence.
Was it Yes, it was act of violence.
Act of violence. Yeah. Because Oscar Isaac couldn't give any less of a shit. Wait, no, not violence. History of violence. No. Hold on.
Same thing.
We did this thing. Hold on.
There's violence in the title, and I like this movie too. Shit.
I always mess this title up, and no, it's not Act of Violence. You're right. You're totally right on this. Hold on, Jessica Chastain. I'm getting right to the bottom of this.
JC Chan.
What's the movie?
I don't know, but you fuck it up.
We fuck it up every time.
I know the director
Oscar
of
Isaac. I know
stars.
JC.
Look up JC Chandor. Like he's
I'm
only
doing
directed a small handful of movies.
Hold on. A Most Violent Year. I
Most
always
Violent
mess
Year.
that up. It's
I
a
knew
Most Violent
violent.
Year.
I knew violent
Yeah.
was in it, but anyway,
Okay, Christian Songbird got there.
The Alexandra
Before
Daddario interview is going to go up on the Collider Extras YouTube channel sometime next week between the premiere of White Lotus and also the release of her new movie, Die in a Gunfight. And she is lovely, and I think you're going to enjoy the conversation. All right. Do you want me to leave it to you two for a little while I go set up?
I don't know who I'm talking to. I don't know what's happening.
Aren't you going to talk to Amelia?
Oh, I thought you were bringing in your partner.
No,
okay.
not yet. I wanna do like a reveal.
All right.
Really quickly, the Karen Gillan one is also going up this week. Hopefully, timed to the release of Gunpowder Milkshake, which is on Wednesday, which I believe is the 14th.
Which already got
double ladies' nights this week,
and we get a second one already. They already announced they're doing 2.
A second Gunpowder Milkshake?
Yeah, right. I'm pretty sure they announced that today.
I might have.
I'm almost positive. Yeah, I'm almost positive that got announced today that they're doing 2.
Yes, please. All right, I'm signing out.
You're signing. Wait, hold on. Well, I have to like move my stuff. All right, you have to come over here. So I'm going to play with Amelia because we're now in the same apartment, and this is easy. It's great.
Fine. All right, give me like a couple minutes.
Give me 1 minute. Hold on.
Okay, you get 1 minute, and then I'll get a couple minutes.
Well, she's leaving us, so I'm taking my headphones out so that I can hear you from.
I'm leaving. Yeah, I can't wait to see your beer pong set up.
Okay, so wait, before you leave, chat, give me something to talk about in the meantime. You get a minute to give me any topic that me and Amelia will talk about.
I'm trying to think of what the other news stories were that we didn't really talk about.
I mean, there was a few things.
Every time I look at our
Tom Hardy getting his first writing credit for Venom, Let There Be Carnage.
You guys want to talk about that?
It's just excitement.
I haven't watched Venom.
I know you haven't watched Venom.
We didn't review MODOK again.
We do have to do MODOK for Ian. Also, I can't wait for Alien Fireteam Ian.
Man, Ian, I'm so sorry. I don't know why I keep forgetting MODOK, but like I don't want to like rush a review. Maybe we'll table MODOK. I just hear myself.
Oh, is it echoing? Sorry.
It's echoing so bad.
Hold on. I can mute myself as you talk.
All right, he's muted himself, but man, Ian, we planned to do MODOK last week. Now we plan to do it this week and forgot yet again. So MODOK is going to happen next week because I don't want to rush it. But I'll tell everyone that I really liked it. And I don't know. Usually I'm like not super into the adult animated stuff, but I thought it was really good. The style of animation and just the content too. But I'm not going to get too far into that. Instead, I'm gonna bring Evan into the show. Hey Evan, look who decides to show up. Probably to heckle me during beer pong. I'll bet that's the case. All right, what else do we got here? I don't know what I'm talking about anymore, guys. All I can think about is moving back to LA and all the things that I need to pack that I still haven't packed. I will tell you that I have a Tomorrow War bag filled with like it's not just Cavity Colors clothing, but it's a lot of Cavity Color stuff. And then also other movie related stuff that I want to wear. Yes, you do, Christy. I highly recommend it. You've already started. Evan, you don't even know who my partner is, so I wouldn't start heckling me yet because I think you're going to stop. All right, here's a good question from Ian. What'll be the first thing you do back in LA? The first thing I'm going to do when I get back to LA, because Papa Nems is coming with me, the first thing that I'm going to make him do when I walk into the apartment is do a spider check or like a bug check in general, just so he can check the apartment for all the bugs that I'm afraid have taken over. But like the first real thing I'm going to do, like not cleaning the apartment related, is I'm going to go to a local creation and I'm going to get some of my cookies and an acai bowl and maybe a smoothie because I've missed all of that stuff quite a bit. Also, some of the Patreon team members know this, but a top priority for the two of us while we're in LA together is to go to Mastro's because I will tell you that is the best steak I've ever had in my entire life. Like, entire life. I have never had a steak better than the one served at Mastro's, and I think it's in Beverly Hills. It's so good, and I need that steak in my life right now. I actually lied. Oop, sorry, Christy. The first thing I think that we're doing when we get back to out, like literally the first thing that we're going to do when we land is see Wendy Lee, because she has offered to pick us up from the airport kindly. So I guess that's technically the first thing I'm doing. He's here. What are you doing? It's really creepy when you're like in frame, but you're muted. It's freaking me out a little.
Anyway, I just took my mic off. So are you getting the echo now?
I'm speaking. Do I hear myself? I do not.
Okay, cool. So apparently it's a mic thing. Apparently we're
I see a little corner of Amelia.
You'll see more in a second.
All right. Can I go down?
Yeah.
Can I go downstairs? All right.
You can go downstairs now.
I'm at
my creepy jump scare. Look at my apartment with all of my things not unpacked yet.
our apartment.
Our apartment. Yes. Sorry.
Wow.
Did that hurt?
Yes, it hurt.
All right. What was she? What are we talking about here? Ooh, wait. Thoughts on haunting a Hill House at Halloween Horror Nights? My thoughts are very positive because number one, we're going back to Halloween Horror Nights, and I have obviously not got to do that for about did I go 2 years ago?
You said you went every year, not last night, so I'm assuming so.
So that would be last year, yeah. And I feel like the Hill House series lends itself very easily to Halloween Horror Nights, honestly, because it is a haunted house already, and you get like a lot of cool things. Be that the Ash and the Evil Dead was like a cool walkthrough because you had the cabin, then you had the forest and things of that nature. But the entirety of Hill House, you can just do a giant Hill House, and that is so easy to go through as like a haunted house maze. So I'm very, very excited for that. Amelia, are you excited for that?
I'm extremely excited about that.
You like Hill House a great deal, don't you?
That's my contributor there. Everybody shame Matt for not watching Bly Manor yet.
I haven't watched Bly Manor yet. This is true. Bly Manor is on the list, and I will get to it.
Mm-hmm.
What else are we getting here? Big Shirley Jackson fan. I found this. Yes, extremely awesome. And also, it's a Netflix property, and I feel like Netflix properties doing this are going to mean that it's going to go all out.
Yeah, I feel like it needs to be taller.
This table?
No, the chair.
This, yeah. Sorry, this is like new apartment, so we don't know how the setup looks yet. So this is testing everything out, because why would we test things without being live?
It's over here. I'll do that. You go find the chair, the cups.
Answer something in the chat.
Oh God, I don't know. Thank you, Christy. We like it a lot. There are no new questions. Ask questions while he looks for cups, or I'm just gonna stand here and be weird.
Just keep looking into.
Andrew sent me a clip while you were working, but I don't know what it was because I was like, I can't listen to this because he's recording 12 feet away from me.
Matt, I think he wants to rewatch the movie. I'm gonna do a double feature. Yes.
I'll get that.
If you're gonna double feature anything with Dude Bro Party Massacre, double feature Deep Murder, because I think they both play the kind of same vibe where they're doing a good satire, but also like launching into the property. So for me, I would say double feature Dude Bro and Deep Murder, and also Deep Murder should just be watched by everyone. If you don't know what Deep Murder is, it is a slasher film that happens in the world of a softcore porno. And I don't mean like they're making fun of it. I mean like a softcore porno just kind of stops and the characters realize that people are dying. And the same characters have to solve a murder. And I think it's brilliant.
It has baby Nora from The Flash, and it's not good.
No, it's very good. And that's fine.
She has the one good moment in the whole movie.
Oh, we only need one set because it's me and you.
Yes.
Oh, you got it.
Yes, because they came in the sack.
Oh. I thought you were setting up at 6 over here. Did you two not live together before? No, we did. We lived together for like 6 months during the pandemic. 6 months, I think about?
8 months.
8 months during the pandemic, because the pandemic was terrible. So why do that living in isolation? So we lived together for a little bit there, and now we just moved into this place because why not enjoy a place that has a gym, a pool, and all these other things that my apartment didn't have. So right now is the chaos of it all. I got my stuff in here Tuesday. We are still waiting for.
Stuff is in Colorado.
Amelia's stuff's in Colorado because her movers are MIA and they just stopped answering. So that is a fun thing that is happening right now.
Very fun and chill.
Yeah, very fun chill. So
Where's
a lot of
the
chaos.
picture?
It's in one of the boxes. Greta Gerwig directing a Barbie movie. Isn't it also starring? Who's it starring? Like Margot Robbie?
It was Margot Robbie,
Yeah.
but she dropped out.
Oh, she dropped out.
Yeah. Forever.
Oh, I forget who's starring in it, but yeah, Greta Gerwig directing a Barbie movie. I actually think it'll be really fun. I think Greta Gerwig will have a very fun perspective on Barbie culture, and however they tool that, it won't be just.
Margot Robbie.
It is Margot Robbie,
Oh,
right?
who dropped out then? Because somebody dropped out.
Anne Hathaway was attached at one point, and so was was it Amy Schumer maybe?
Amy should. She'd be a fun Barbie.
Is this better? Do you like this better or less? I think we should have a wider frame for this one.
Do you want to go wider frame? Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to see who my partner is?
I mean, I'm going to have to see eventually.
Here, come over here.
Oh.
I can't avoid. Oh hell yeah!
My mom's gonna play.
This is good.
Are you excited?
Yeah, I'm excited.
Hello, Mama Nems.
Hi, how are you, Matt?
I'm doing
How are
great.
you? Nice to meet you.
Here, wait. Let me make the frame bigger for you. Sorry to everyone in the chat. Matt will keep an eye on the chat. I'm going full frame right now.
Yeah, I think.
Can you see better now?
Yeah.
Okay. So, how shall we do this? Can we all take a practice shot before?
Fine. Yes, I think.
Practice shot.
Shots.
Here.
So, like, you mean like a practice shot?
Amelia?
It's Amelia. Amelia, meet my mom.
Hi,
I'm Nate.
You want to take one shot first? You want me to? That's pretty good.
So, Perri, when you say practice shots, you mean like a practice shot of whiskey, right?
Do you want a shot of whiskey? Do you want a beer or anything?
No.
Okay. All right. So we're good.
I think we're.
Where are we standing?
Amelia can have a practice. I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Like right here's good.
Oh.
Okay. I'm good to go.
Who goes first?
Is there an easy way to do like?
Okay, so usually I wouldn't do this, but because I've taken over their dinner table for the last year and a half every Friday night, I think I'm going to give us the honors, and I'm going to ask my mom, do you want to go first or do you want me to?
I think you're okay doing that.
I'll go for it.
Okay.
Okay. Just shoot?
Yeah, just shoot it. Just hit any cup.
There's just like one not here. Which was...
Well,
Oh no.
I'll get the front one.
We're all getting none at all.
Would you like to go first or second?
You go.
Me?
You go.
Oh.
Are you watching me put my hand in the window?
No.
Oh.
All right, the back is not.
Oh, that's
Not in.
Not in play.
Good job.
You want to go first again, or do you want me to?
No. Let's go.
Is it behind you? It's right there.
Woo! I got it back.
Yeah.
Now here, slide over this way a little, because I can do a behind the back shot.
Ooh. I'm trying to get out of your way.
Oh,
Do I go? Yes. Now you go. You don't want to lean over the table too much.
Why?
Because technically that's cheating.
Oh, okay.
That's something Lonnie would do.
That's something Lonnie would do.
Yeah.
She's better than
Oh, take that laptop.
Okay.
Okay, magic one. So it's like technically the rule is you don't want your elbow to go over the table.
Okay.
So now we have to catch up.
Rogers is watching, like, what is happening?
You're such a good boy. You're such a good boy.
All right, so I got the front one. Now, if you hit a cup, we get to go again because we both made it.
Good job.
Get it back. Now you can do behind the back.
Yeah, there we go.
Put it behind your back.
Behind your back, right?
Do it like it's all on the.
It's all my hips.
That's not bad.
That was way closer than so many people.
Thanks. He's mad he can't sit on my lap.
All right, go first again.
They have a dog. Rogers.
There you go.
Oh,
Ooh, uh-oh.
No,
Oh, good.
I missed it. But
Think about it like basketball with a follow through. Do you want me to go 1st?
Mhm.
All right.
You're so good.
Flies.
Such a good boy.
There you
I.
Not bad.
get ready.
You got it.
Now, channel your basketball skills. You'll get it eventually. Once you figure out how far to throw it.
Yeah.
Perri, we missed a super chat in there. Vanya has a super chat.
Oh, okay. I'm going back in.
We'll take our. You take that. We'll take our turn.
Sounds good. All right. Scrolling up to find Vanya. I see it here. All right. Vanya's saying, been with AMC Collider since 2014. Love Perri. Matt seems cool in the short time I saw him. Should I go pizza or hamburger tomorrow? I like hamburgers, but I will always pick pizza over hamburgers. What do you
Pizza.
Pro pizza.
I had hamburger tonight.
Amelia, what is your pick?
Pizza.
You just went 4 for 4 on pizza, Vanya. I think you have your answer.
Saturdays for pizzas.
Every day's for pizza. Are we up?
Yeah, you're up. We did not hit anything. That was a bad round.
Sure.
Let me go.
Okay. I don't want to hit that one.
Wow.
That's it. So, okay, here's a good situation if you want to try.
Oh.
This cup is isolated. If you say isolation and you pick this cup and you hit it, you can take 2 cups away.
Okay.
You want to try?
Yeah.
Can I go on your hand? If you want it, yeah. You're very far over the table.
No,
Watch
I
the
like
chandelier.
You got this. Do it.
Close. It's not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
You're going in the right direction.
Andrew's lobbying for Rogers to take a shot.
You have golf, I have this. That's how the world is.
Oh, sorry.
All right. We got 3 left.
All right, I'm going to take my isolation
Take it.
for that cup.
Take it.
Got it. So I'm going to remove these 2 and leave us with 1. So now if you hit this cup, it's game over.
Yeah. Should I just go?
Try not putting your hand on the table.
Why?
It's like bowling too.
Find your shot. Find your form.
Oh,
Get-
that was.
Well, if it didn't go in that cup, you could have gotten it and taken it behind the back.
That should count.
Does that count?
What was it?
It bounced off of this cup and went in one of these cups.
Yeah, unfortunately that does not count.
You didn't even ask me.
Okay, so we're doing that.
You're a bad partner.
We're doing that.
You're a bad partner.
Would you like to travel?
You're a bad
Okay,
partner.
go ahead.
You missed because you're a bad partner.
Try like lining your arm up with it when you throw it, you know? That's
Yeah.
always what I'm looking for, like the line.
That's what I'm watching on TV. I'm missing that.
What are you missing?
Whiplash. Not whiplash.
With Miles Teller, yeah.
Yes, so good.
No. What?
It's just the distance that you're not gauging.
No, that was crooked too.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna hit it. It's fine.
So wait, dinner parties in Long Island don't usually end with beer pong, Mrs. Demeron?
No, not usually. Not for a long
I
time.
almost had it. There was a lot of beer pong being played here over the years. Just not with you.
Oh,
Behind the back. Behind the back.
That's our fun.
Sandwich, and you could hit it into the cups.
Not-
If you want to. Do you want to watch?
First,
I'll line it up. I'm gonna go like that, so it's in a straight line. Got it. So now if you hit it, the game is over. If you don't hit it, they get a rebuttal and they can try to hit all of their cups.
Line it up.
He's so frustrated. It's okay. We're gonna win this.
Lined up. I just
We're
went
gonna
over
win
the
this
top.
game.
We're gonna come back.
No, you're not.
All right.
Can you hit the cups now?
I got three in me. We're good. Nope.
Yeah, do you?
Nope.
We win.
Yeah, I was good.
All right. With
All right. So now we play best of three. So if we win this time, like we win. We are like the final New York champions.
Yeah.
All right. You should go first this time. Whole rack to hit. Yeah. That was really good though. That almost went in. Oh, I missed. We felt bad for you, so we purposely missed those shots.
fair.
Is one of those dirty?
Wait, Perri, here's a good question from your domains. Will Perri's mom be happy or sad that the beer pong days are going back to the West Coast?
You should answer that question.
I got used to it. So at the beginning it was weird, but I got used to it.
What is the weirdest video related thing you've seen me do the entire time I've been home?
Video or anything? I don't know.
I kind of regret asking that question.
I can't.
Lay down, baby.
I mean, I guess it's playing beer pong every Friday
Yeah,
night.
it's definitely the beer.
Actually, it's when I put the fake thing on my face
Oh,
and came back.
The big thing, yeah.
Yeah, that was so long ago.
You go. That's a long time ago.
I just love your dad's reaction to the fake wound, just being like, whatever.
It was close.
You're right there.
Do like a
right.
follow through like basketball, you know?
Okay.
Because I think sometimes when you come so hard at it from
Yeah.
that angle, it's more likely to hit the rim.
Bring back.
Oh shit!
She got it.
Bring back.
So they both hit it, so they get to go
Oh.
again.
Oh. All right. No,
We're good. We're good. I think you should go first. Think about it like basketball.
they have to be in the right one.
Yes.
It's interesting having two teams on like the same video because we don't talk on video anymore. We're just talking to our partners.
Oh, you're in the same place.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh,
Usually we have like 4 screens with 4 people in different places.
No, but it's actually, you can see everything now.
Ooh!
oh,
There you go.
I'm so
I
happy.
bounced it first.
It was the pre-bounce. It was the bouncing it and then going with it.
I feel really good about this. Like I think I'm gonna hit that cup and we're gonna get it again.
I think they're going to. I've seen this happen too many times.
Ha 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 ha.
Now we get to go again. Whatever you did before, do it again.
The pre-bounce. It is, yeah, Andrew called it. It's a dribble.
You definitely like
I'm getting it.
feel it though. I could tell.
You have a line too.
Oh, I thought that was going in.
I would like an eye. Thank you.
It's okay. I think we can like play this game.
The problem is not that it's not what I wanted. The problem is you didn't ask what I wanted.
Oh, that's fair. All right, we wrap.
What?
Taking our wrap, we're doing all right.
No, that's like the centipede thing I found in my room.
Yeah. It's dead.
You want to rub it? I don't want to touch it.
Oh, that was bad.
We're down to 2. We got 2 left.
Oh. Wait, why are we leaving the bug on the table? Can we put it in the trash or something? Did its legs fall off?
Some of them.
Okay. All right. I'm making us a straight line.
I was like, are you having a timeout for bug cleanup?
Yeah, apparently. All right. Do you want to go first on this?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, yeah. Perri, was one of the weirdest things that you did when you were home trying to drink the beer bottle off the garage door?
I don't think she was too happy about that.
It didn't work too well.
Yeah.
I don't think we ever really did it.
I forgot it. What was that for?
I don't know. It was like a TikTok thing or something. Here, take this. Oh!
The pre-bounce.
We got the middle. I'm going to hand this back to you because I'm so confident that I'm going to hit this front cup.
So confident, Perri.
You can do it.
So incredibly confident.
You've got this.
It doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, it sucks.
One way or the other. There we go again. Yeah. And it almost came over.
Just a complete swish.
And the best part is Perri's gonna hit and win.
I'm so laughing.
Perri's gonna hit and win.
Okay.
This is literally gonna happen.
Yeah, you can go up.
Yay!
You're done. Came in, kicked my ass, and stopped. Kicked our ass.
She's going back.
Having a partner here for this.
2 people.
Thank you, Mom.
That was amazing. I'm obsessed.
Thanks, Mrs. Nemro.
I'm like, the first thing I'm going to do is go clip that out.
Yeah, you have to
and post it everywhere. What just happened?
Yep, that works. That's
oh
good.
my God. You read my mind, Andrew.
Andrew is on that shit. My mic is not unpacked. The fuck is
Where
this?
is
I was really gonna do a shot right now, but my liquor is still in the box somewhere.
I don't even know which box it is. We only have like 3 left, so it must be.
I'm just gonna rifle through for the liquor.
I really don't think there could have been a better way to close out my beer pong run on the East Coast.
That's fair.
Incredible.
That's incredibly
I'm
fair.
just like in awe.
Yep.
I knew she would figure it out eventually because she is an athlete, and that applies to things like basketball and bowling that I think has a similar form to beer pong. Like I bet you my mom would be really good at skee ball, Matt.
I believe that because
yeah.
once she figured it out, when she did the bounce, it's like having that little thing that's a pre-ritual.
Yeah, if you find the trick, then you're good.
It's like the most amazing.
That for some reason, it just works for me. But it's having a batting stance too in baseball. Like I always had a specific batting stance, and like it worked for me, but nobody else. That's so funny.
Javier, thanks for this super chat. I'm glad you're enjoying this. All right, before we go, what do you want to promote over there? What's
I have no idea. I wrote some things this week. It's online.
All right, I'll get more specific with it then.
That's good. Yeah. You
go.
go.
There's an Eliza Schlesinger ladies' night up and running on the Extras channel. Go check that out. And then next week, we're getting a double dose of Collider Ladies' Night. I don't know what you're getting first or second, but it's going to be a Karen Gillan episode, and she's our first returning guest. She's the first person to be on the show twice. And then also Alexandra Daddario. And for anybody... I don't know if I shared did I share this clip on Twitter? I might have. I know I shared it in Patreon, but Matt, I asked her my burning Texas Chainsaw 3D question. Do you know what it is?
Yeah, you sent me the clip last week.
Oh, okay, I sent it to you.
Yeah, you sent me the clip.
I can't remember who I sent it to or if I posted it on social media, but my question was answered. and I feel really good about it. And I think you should watch the episode.
Listen, it's hard as a woman to run over tiny fences. It's just, we all know that.
As a woman,
I kicked him in the head. It's fine.
okay, that's good. I'm over it now.
Dumb horror movie trope. It's the dumbest horror movie trope in the history of the world that girls can't run without falling down.
You're getting like too intense glares right now.
Wait, it's a horror movie trope. I don't believe it. I'm saying, why do horror movies do that? What do you think? I believe it's a fucking thing?
I have a lot to say on this matter.
Please launch into it.
I think in what I think you're getting at, I think it's a horror movie trope that literally anybody can trip and fall. Like if someone has the opportunity to go in the wrong direction or fall over some shit, they're probably going to play into it regardless of gender. But the problem with Texas Chainsaw 3D is the fact that Leatherface is a significant amount of steps behind her, yet she still falls unprovoked down the stairs leading out of the house, and then she trips over the baby fence lining the cemetery.
Yeah, it is.
He's not even in frame at that point, I don't believe.
And again, I know everyone can do it, but it's a horror movie trope through and through that it's always the final girl, and she always falls in the most inopportune time. Like, how is that?
I think it's every character. Fall. Like, I just don't think it's a gender thing.
Old school horror movies do not have dudes falling over. It only has girls falling over.
I want to come up with like a whole list right now of dudes falling over, but
yeah, come up with a list of like dudes tripping in horror movies, so it's not just that, but like it's a thing. Every horror movie I watch, it's always the girl who falls, and like it's the dumbest thing ever. Andrew, I have my own shovel. I'm digging my own grave. It's fine.
I'll leave it at that. Thank you, Andrew, for sending us on our way. Next week, we will both be on the West Coast, but we will still be recording remotely because Papa Nems will be with me, so I can't hang out at Matt's apartment just yet. But I will be broadcasting from the same coast as Matt.
Fine.
And at the same time, we're going to keep this specific time, and then we're going to restructure the week after when we can actually physically be in the same space. Sound like a good plan?
We'll figure it out from then.
We kind of discussed this a little. All right. We're out of here. That's the end of Merri Hour this time around. See you guys all